Hi guys, Joe here. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of Texas Chainsaw Massacre saw. As you can see here, the saw, which I showed you earlier. I wanted to go more into detail and showing you all the details regarding the saw. So take a good look here, guys. Look how nice it is. See? All the details, the gas cap, oil cap, whatever that's called. So in the real saw, he has these spikes sticking out. Now you see there's one missing here. It's because I opted not to put it on yet, as the saw part has to still go in. It's going to be in here, so I have to figure out a way to connect it, glue it so it won't come out, and then add the spike. So there's the saw. Okay, so as you saw in the first video, this was printed. It was all drawn and colored with acrylics, and then I put this, which I finished, over it to protect the acrylic. Now I went ahead and did both sides. It's all done, and glued this side and this side of the chains. In the background, when you guys I forgot to videotape this. I went with my heat gun. I printed another one out and I bent it to the contour of this. And if you guys can see, you see these little tabs here? They interlock with these. So you go in and voila. So it's a continuous chain. So I'm going to show you guys how I glue this in. And then I just took another piece, another full one, and I cut it to length so I can continue the saw here. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, so right now I have my trusty E6000. We're going to open it up. And I'm going to start with the little piece. I'm going to put them here. I'm going to show you guys closer to the camera. Just like that. I'm sure everybody knows how to apply glue, but I'm just going to show you how I do it. Okay, I go here and kind of line it up like that. Now, I know that there's a void here, but the glue settles it. It makes its way, it settles as it's a liquid, and it kind of goes to the sides like this did, see? And nothing happens. So I'm moving on to the jaw now. I took a liberty of taking a little blade here. I know it's not the best way, but I can't find my actual handle. So usually there's a handle that I have for this, and this is a smaller blade. Anyways, so what I'm going to do now is going to show you how I'm going to cut it here. That's my thing that I want to do here. Some of you might want to use the whole half, the whole thing. All depends on you. So right now I'm going to. Oh, and by the way, as you can see, whoa! As you can see, I already made. I already puttied this, and I already sanded it to make it nice and smooth. I haven't painted it yet, but that will be later when I'll show you. So let's go back in. Now, what I want to do here is I'm going to cut it a bit and then snap. The reason why, it's not snapping yet. Okay, cut a bit more. The reason why is I want to make it not a complete clean cut, as if it got ripped by the chainsaw. You know what I mean? Now, in the case that like this is not breaking and the cut is pretty much clean, we're gonna go with my soldering iron and I'm gonna make it look like it was ripped off. That's another thing, another video for you guys. A more instructional video. I'm gonna cut it, I don't know, maybe here, so I have the molars in too. As you can see, the molars. There's a molar missing there, so maybe I'm gonna do, let's see, a little more. I can always cut it after if I don't like it, so let's do this. That. Hey guys, so sorry for the cut in the video. Anyways, as we were talking about the jaw, as you can see, we already cut it. So I have the cut. Later on, I'm going to either, I don't know if I'm going to leave it like this or when I epoxy it or something, or maybe I'm just going to get my soldering iron and make it look like it was ripped off by the chainsaw. And as we said, this is going to be glued kind of like this, just so you have an idea. And let's put this on like that. There we go. And you know, you can put it maybe inside a tooth like that. So when you have it on here, it gives the effect. Sorry about that. Anyways, you get the idea, right? Now, as I was talking about this earlier, about the saw, I was saying about these spikes that the saw comes with. I'm waiting to put this one, as you can see, I already chopped it, here, because this, technically, will be coming in here. Okay? Something like that. So once I have the saw in, the saw blade, this has to come in here. I don't know if you guys can see that. But somewhere here, this has to stand here. Like that. Unless that's a better view. Anyways, you guys get the idea, right? So, and that's how it's going to be. So, going back to the saw. In the real saw, these are all pieces of metal brass that plated, that have been put on with rivets. All here and here and here, because there's a custom-made job by the killer, which is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre killer. Because really, this was, if I'm not wrong, a Husqvarna model, I can't remember. And he modified it to his liking. What I did is I put some, this is real leather, some leather strapping here. I glued it in. This basically was a 1/4 inch, I think, or half, no, not half inch, a 1/4 inch tubing, PVC tubing. And what I did is I went with my heat gun. Be careful when you guys do that, because if you overheat it, it will kind of deform itself. So I had oven mitts on, believe it or not. I put oven mitts on, and as I was, I'll give you an idea with this. As I was heating it with the heat gun, I was going over it like this, around and around. As soon as I tested it that it was malleable, I would go with my hand and try to make it like a curve, but slowly. So I'd have this much, then this much, then go back and make that much, go back and make that much. So I did it a bit at a time in increments. So that way it came out nice and curved. Now here, I went ahead and I painted it, but I still have a lot of weathering and painting to do. I think I'm going to put a couple of bolts here. Just fake bolts, maybe either 3D printed or actual real ones right here. Other than that, I think it came out pretty good. This also, the pull cord, I put some, the same leather that's here. I made a knot and made it look like right here. I just glued that right in on the top, made it look like it was a real pull cord. It's obviously just glued in. This was basically all these parts that you see here. This was constructed, this wasn't here. Actually, the way I constructed this, because the saw, the 3D file, was just this piece here, the bottom. And this was from another saw, this handle. So what I did is I printed the bottom, modified it to my liking with my soldering iron. So I took pieces off, made a hole on top to insert the end. I printed a whole engine. As you can see in the video, there's a picture of it. And I cut it to make it fit. But this part here basically was sheets of plastic. First I took paper and I made a model of it. When I was happy with the model, I transferred it onto the plastic, cut it out, glued it all together with my plastic glue, which I can't find here. Just give me a second. Right here, my tester's plastic glue, melted it right together. And after I had that it perfectly fit, I fiberglassed it all. After I fiberglassed it, I put it on, fit, glued. Okay, so like I was saying, this was fabricated with plastic. So what I did after I I formed it and everything, and I made sure it fit perfectly, I fiberglassed it. Don't have it here, but everybody knows what fiberglass is. So I fiberglassed it, but without the sheets, just the resin. So I made, I think it was 4 coats on the inside and on the outside. Then I went to town with the sanding, a little bit of this, and a little bit of this. And in the end, as you can see, it's a perfect product. Anyways, so I fabricated this, same method as that with fiberglass. And this here is basically is foam. You know those foam boards that you can buy? So I measured it again. I made it out of the same procedure. Made it out of paper. The way I liked it. Found the way I liked it. Transferred it onto the foam. I cut it with an X-Acto knife. And I glued it in. But before gluing it into place, I glued on this plastic sheet. Made all the rivets. Put it on. There we go. Perfect. So other than that, I fabricated everything. Oh, this, I 3D printed the caps. Put them on. This was for gas. I was going to write gas on it, but I don't know. It sounds a little too... Anyways, left it like that. And then I did all the weathering, as you can see. I'm not 100% finished yet, but... Oh, and then, sorry. Then this, because it was from another saw, it totally did not fit. So I had to modify it a lot. But anyways, in other videos, I'll show you a how-to. I made it fit, and then where it joins here, I put some more of this to make it look like a brass joint, which came out pretty good. And the spacing here, it's just brass here, and then this nice rope that I put around it. I put a nice rope because if the killer, I figured, if I'm killing people, I'm going to be full of blood, and my hands are going to slide. So I'm thinking putting the rope here and leather here so I have a better grip. That's just me. I'm not a killer. Anyways, I'm far from that. So going back to the saw, here is another piece from another saw, and it's the muffler, which comes from the inside to outside. So you can only see this part here, the exit part. Other than that, I kind of like it myself. Almost want to run for myself. But now going back to the saw, this is what's left. I took the liberty to finish off gluing it, like I showed you earlier. So I'm just waiting for it to dry. Once it's dry, we're going to add on one of these. Still going to decide which one. Either one with the teeth or a piece of bone or something. Maybe a little something here. I'll put this in. Once this is in, I'll show you guys like this. Whoops, sorry about that. Once that's in, and the saw's almost complete, you know, you can add maybe something like that. Got stuck in these, like here, between the saw and the, you know what I mean? It's up to you. You guys have the liberty of creating, you know? Other than that, the saw's going to be completed. So, I don't know if maybe I'll show you in a later video, but I'm trying to cut this to make it shorter, because you guys, this is already part 2 and been listening to me a lot. To finish this off, once it's glued in, there's going to be blood everywhere. I'm going to try to make it, because it's in a circular motion, so it's going to be like a spray action to it. And once that's done, I'm going to give it a little bit more weathering, and that's about it. So guys, thank you very much for watching my video. As always, please subscribe and like. That helps me a lot, because basically on our own. And I'll see you next time. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.